So I'm gonna be talking about Dio. Dreams Never Die. Um, so this is a documentary of Ronnie James Dio. So it pretty much talks about him growing up, how he got into music. Pretty much at a young age, in different bands back in the day in the like 50s, 60s. And then it talks about like when he really kind of got on the scene, like with first album out, back in, I believe it was 70, around the early 70s. He was in a band called The Electric Elves. And later on, they just changed their name to Elf, which they only released, I believe, three albums on their debut album. They released two more after that. The first album in '72, next one in '74, and the very last one in '75. And they were kind of like a hard rock band, and then that was the end. And then around, I would say around that time, 74, 75, Ritchie Blackmore decided to leave Deep Purple around 75, because Deep Purple, it was going a different way with their music. Definitely like around, it would have been around 74. Their music was kind of going into a different direction. Even though it kind of it was still hard rock, but it had a different style to it. And Ritchie Blackmore, I don't think, liked how that was going, so he decided to leave the band and form his own band. So in '75, he formed Rainbow, which their debut album came out in 1975, entitled Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. So the members of the band that Dio was in, like I said before that they only had those three albums. So they ended up going to when Ritchie Blackmore formed Rainbow, Ronnie James Dio became the lead singer, and then the other members of the band he was in before ended up playing for Rainbow. For that, I would say probably that first album, and then later on, around with the next year, '76. I think it was '76. Then they had another album. So they only released with him as lead singer only three albums, which was Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, Rising, which came out in '76, and then their last one with Dio on lead vocals, Long Live Rock and Roll. And then that was it. And then he thought that was it. His career was pretty much done, he thought, right, in '79. And then later on, found out, Black Sabbath, that Ozzy left in, I believe it was like around '79, left Black Sabbath. And then, because Ozzy Osbourne would pursue a solo career in 1980. So then later on, Ronnie James Dio became the lead vocalist for Black Sabbath. And he done two albums in a row, from 1980 to '81, two albums. And then not long after that, that was it. And then he formed and then he thought, why not? I form my own band. So in 1983, he formed, Dio. That's when they had their very first album called Holy Diver, which came out in '83. And from there, released a lot of albums. So then his career was pretty much, with the band he formed. And it released so many albums. And then I believe, and it also said that he later on came back to Sabbath, I think in sometime in the 90s, 95, to do an album with them again. And then I believe that then the very last album he put out was called, which was Black Sabbath, all the members of Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, trying to think who, Bill Ward, I believe. Trying to think who else was with them. Anyways, then they decided to have the name Heaven and Hell, which was the very first album to have the very first Black Sabbath album that Ronnie James Dio was, on. So they decided to change, for that. And that would be, I believe, his last album that he put out. But yeah, amazing documentary of how he got into the music business. Like I said, his style is like rock and roll. It was like hard rock. This is here, the definite documentary of a legendary metal icon, Ronnie James Dio, transcending the standard rock documentary and beautifully highlighting both his powerful voice and his gentle heart. Dio, Dreamers Never Die, delves deep into the singer's incredibly rise from 50s doo-wop crooner to his early rock days in Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, to replacing Ozzy Osbourne in Black Sabbath, and finally cementing his rock status with Dio. Amazing documentary. So it says here, the first documentary to author by the artist's estate. The film incorporates never seen before footage and personal photos from Dio's archives, as well as offering intimate scenes with his closest peers, family, and friends. And then look, the people that were in this film with his wife was, then it would have him talking, Dio talk, of interviews, and also Tony Iommi was in it, talking about his career. Geezer Butler, Bill Ward, Vinny, Piece, he was APPICE. He later on, around the time when Ronnie James Dio joined Black Sabbath, he was the drummer for Black Sabbath for, I believe, not really that long, a couple albums with them. And he played with, obviously, other bands over the years. Also Lita Ford, Rob Halford from Judas Priest, Sebastian Bach, Eddie Trunk, and Jack Black. But yeah, amazing documentary of how he got into the music industry. Like I said, it talked about around the 50s, 60s, around the time he started, and then, like I said, the early band, when he really got his first really, you could say, album out in 72 was really around the time you could say he really made, pretty much a mark in rock and roll, I guess you could say. Because that's when, first album came out with a band, like I said, that he was with. They only had 3 albums out, and then from there, yeah. Anyways, let me know what you think, and every single one of you watching this, greatly appreciate for every one of you supporting this channel. And I'm going to show you inside. And there's the inside. There's the back. Definitely great documentary about his career. I found it was very interesting. Definitely, if you're a fan of his music, definitely, like I said, it's definitely worth checking out for sure. So yeah, let me know what you think, and thank you very much for supporting this channel. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, and I got another one to do. I might do that one sometime maybe next week or the week after. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, every single one of you, for supporting this channel. Make sure to hit a thumbs up, and thank you very much, and have a good day, and bye.